Alright, what's up guys? It's ExistedD here, and today we're gonna be reviewing um the new movie Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Now, this this is gonna be a full-on spoiler review, so if you want to go in this movie like completely blind, even though that's kind of hard these days because people leak everything, especially because it released early in Japan. But if you don't want any spoilers and want to go into this movie blind, which I suggest you do, I recommend clicking off this video and watch the movie yourself and then come back. But I'm gonna do like a little talk about the movie. I'm gonna talk about the plot, the characters, and then I'm gonna end it off with how I like it. So it's gonna be plot, characters, animation, and then my thoughts and opinions about the movie. First thing, let's get to the first part of the movie, which is a flashback. It is a flashback that shows the history of the Red Ribbon Army, because they're basically like the main point of the movie, and it's telling us how, well, the backstory of it, starting off in Dragon Ball all the way to Dragon Ball Z, and now in this movie Dragon Ball Superhero. And the flashback itself has some really good animation. If it's showing the stuff from the Cell Saga mixed with the Android Saga, and also the Red Ribbon Army Saga in old Dragon Ball, which is pretty cool actually. I really like that. It looked really good, and I hope when the anime continues, I hope they use that type of animation, or like the animation they use in Dragon Ball Super Broly. But after this flashback, we get a scene from our kind of main antagonist, Magneta. I think I'm saying his name right, Magneta. And his whole like goal in this movie is basically like create like a powerful android to like beat the Z fighters. That's basically his whole point. He's not super good as a villain per se, but he has his moments. He's mostly like a comedy relief type villain. But him and his assistant is looking for Dr. Jiro's son. His name is Dr. Hito. And while they're showing us like the little family tree of like Dr. Jiro, they show us that Dr. Jiro was with Android 21. Now, Android 21 was a weird one, because I wasn't expecting them to put Android 21 into this movie. But they actually like put her in there, which I'm confused, because if they can add video game characters like Android 21, then what's stopping them from adding people like Shallot from Dragon Ball Legends to a mobile game, or characters from Dragon Ball Heroes, like that type stuff. So that was actually really cool to see. And also for the little I know the little memes of Android 21 saying she's not really like 6 years old. She's saying that as an android, when she was a human, she was with Dr. Jiro, and they created Android 16, which is her son. So yeah, it's a quick little Android 21 history right there for the people who played through the god awful story mode of this game. After that, we see Dr. Hito escape from a prison. He was let out, and we see that Magneta like tracked him down to go to the prison, and he basically says, "Hey, I want your help to go and like make this great android." And Dr. Hito, he already knew that they wanted to find him. He just didn't know what for. because he was tracking them with this little robot wasp thing, and he basically was like tracking them with that bee. So after they speak in the car for like a few minutes, they discuss that both know about Dr. Jiro's research about the androids, and Dr. Hito even said to himself that he wants to be just like his grandfather, who is Dr. Jiro, and make a greater android than he could ever make. And then Magneto was like, yeah, we want the same exact thing, so how about me and you work together? It's like, what's in it for me? Well, Magneto, he basically like kind of tricks him, because Dr. Hito isn't really trying to like be a villain like his grandfather. He's like more interested in being like a superhero, and he said the Red Ribbon has been more of like a villain, and he wants to have like a more superhero type design to his androids. But Dr. Hito, well, no, Dr. Magneto basically says that Capsule Corp, basically Bulma's little business operation thing, they saying that they're are the enemy, because he basically tricks them into saying like Capsule Corp is full of like alien tech and like trying to go and take over the Earth, which I would believe, because think about the stuff they have, like little capsules that can like carry like big amounts of equipment. So yeah, I would believe that would be alien tech. So they convince him that Capsule Corp is the enemy, and they said, yeah, let's go and make some androids. After that, we skip to like 6 months afterwards, where we see Piccolo training with Pan. So Piccolo and Pan share like a father, like kind of like a father and daughter type thing, like a uncle and grandchild kind of bond throughout the movie, because Pan serves as like the little wholesome slice of life type character in the movie. It's like all innocent and also like pretty smart and can handle herself in a fight, because he was trained by Piccolo. So after Piccolo is done training, he's done training with Pan. He goes off to go meditate, and that's where Videl calls him, and she wants Piccolo to go and get Pan from school, because Gohan is off home at work. Now Piccolo, he's kind of like confused by this, because Gohan has been like basically like inactive after the Tournament of Power. He's basically just been at home and not doing pretty much any type of training, because Gohan's whole character is basically he doesn't want to fight, which I'll get into later, because Gohan's character is probably the most controversial things in the Dragon Ball community. Either you want him to be this cool like savage character who can use his emotions, go and become like super powerful, or you want this kind guy, this kind smart guy who doesn't really want to fight and just want to do like his little research and whatever. So that's Gohan's little character thing. But Piccolo Piccolo had enough of Gohan stuff, and he was like, Gohan, why are you over here doing like this little research thing and not going to go get your daughter? And Gohan's like, yeah, but I had to go and do like some research on this little like ant thing, like this little new species of ant that he's working on or doing a report on. It's kind of like a little golden ant. That's the whole point of that. And Piccolo tried to go catch Gohan off guard by trying to hit him, and then Gohan blocked his punch, but then he missed. He didn't expect Piccolo to go and like punch him in the gut, and so Piccolo then like does this little thing where he can like he like it's like a clothes beam. it's kind of weird, but he like puts like his weighted clothing, like a form of like his weighted clothing on Gohan to go and like put on as like armor, I guess, or something like that, as like training while he's like working on the computer. And Piccolo then goes to head back to a mountain where he meditates. That's where we get our first fight of the movie, well, first real fight of the movie, with Gamma 2. Now Gamma 2, I'll show him on screen about what Gamma 2 looks like at this point. But Gamma 2, in this movie, he has a very he's a very good character. I really like Gamma 2 as a character. He's funny. He likes to pose a lot. Like his whole thing is just like to be like the funny, goofy one compared to like the other Gamma. But he ends up fighting Piccolo, and because he thinks that he's the bad guy, and so he says, I'm gonna go test my strength against you. And Piccolo's like, okay, bet, let's go and rumble then. And so they fight. Piccolo kind of gets mopped in like in the first few seconds of the fight, and then they kind of go on like even footing, and then Gamma 2 shoots like a big little a big blast out of his little gun that he has, little energy gun, and then it's just basically like a big old explosion, and he thinks he like evaporated Piccolo, but in reality Piccolo like got away so he can like track him down to where he came from. So this leads up to the second portion of the movie where Piccolo is following Gamma 2 to the Red Ribbon Army base, where he basically while he's there, he follows Gamma 2 in like this little invisible like thing, like, you know, like in Black Panther where they have this invisible shield around Wakanda, so everyone who thinks like it's just a mountain and then they fly through it, it shows like Wakanda. That's basically what they have in this movie. And they walk through it, and there's the Red Ribbon Army base. So Piccolo, to try to go and fit in, he like takes out some guy and like steals the Red Ribbon like a Red Ribbon soldier's clothes so he can fit in, even though he's green. So I don't know how they still didn't like figure out he was him. Probably because he had like a visor on like everyone else did. So that's kind of why. But when they get there, or when he gets there, they show Magneta and Dr. Hito with Gamma 2 and Gamma 1, and I'll show Gamma 1 on screen kind of here, and that's basically the two Gammas. That's Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. It's kind of debatable who's stronger between the two, but we're not gonna get into that. So Gamma 1 is the more serious of the two. Like, he's more like headstrong about what he's doing, and Gamma 2 is like more like the goofball, I like the little jokester. So what the thing that they're planning to do is to get Gohan, because they say, oh yeah, Gohan, despite the fact that he doesn't look as strong as he was back then, he was the one who killed Cell. And and they're like, we need to go and take out Gohan because he could do the same thing again. And so what they plan to do is they decide to go and try to take away Pan, or like capture Pan and make her a hostage for Gohan to like come in. Okay, so never mind. There's a little edit note here because I kind of messed something up and in the thing where I kind of skip over like the first conversation in the movie where Piccolo like kind of escapes and like gets like infiltrates the base. So actually what happens in the first infiltration is they talk about how Gamma 2 could have actually did not, they show that Gamma 2 actually did not kill Piccolo, and they're kind of worried about that, but they say it's fine and they should probably go after Gohan. But before that they decide to go and run more tests on Gamma 2 and Gamma 1, and where they hint at a thing called Cell Max. I'll show you a picture of Cell Max later on in the video, but you'll have mixed feelings. You'll have mixed feelings on that, but how they do my voice out. But anyway, Piccolo leaves the base and tries to go and call Bulma to see where Goku and Vegeta are, because he's like, yo, we need Goku and Vegeta, because if they're not here then we might be in big trouble, because these guys are like really strong. And so he asked her, where's Vegeta and Goku? And Bulma says that they're off planet with Beerus. And so that's when we cut to where Goku and Vegeta are throughout the entire movie. So they're over there training at Beerus's planet, basically trying to go on like this is after Dragon Ball Super Broly, so they're over there training with Broly, and basically Broly, Chilai, and Lenning, I think that's what his name is, decided to go and stay at Beerus's planet with Broly, and they're just there to train. Broly kind of like observes, because he still has a problem where if he doesn't control his Super Saiyan rage or whatever, he'll go berserk and like probably like destroy the planet that they're standing on. So they're like, okay, well, let's let Goku and Vegeta square up, and they'll train and they'll see who's strong or whatever. Vegeta throughout this entire time is trying to go like do this little meditation type training or whatever, trying to like control his power like how Jiren did, because he mentions in the Tournament of Power that Jiren didn't really use all of his strength until when he was actually like needed to in the Tournament of Power, which is another reason why I like Vegeta, because he basically like uses the abilities and like the little skills of the people he fights. So that was cool. And so throughout the movie, Goku and Vegeta has just been sparring against each other. That's basically what they've been doing. It's weird how they did it, but I guess it's a good enough reason as to why they are not in this movie. And it's also kind of weird how neither Goku or Vegeta nor Beerus or Whis couldn't sense their energy, any of their energy while they were fighting. Because in Dragon Ball Super, Goku could sense Gohan's energy, even though he was like way weaker at the time. He could sense Gohan's energy when Frieza arrived. So kind of weird, but we'll take what we can get at least. They could have done something in the manga, but we'll not get into that because manga spoilers, and not a lot of people watch the manga. So anyway, when I say watch the manga, I meant read the manga. So we cut back to that. We see Piccolo go to Kami's lookout where he tries to go and get some sensu beans and talks to Dende. So Dende, Piccolo asks him if he can do that little thing that Guru did on Planet Namek, where he would awaken someone's like hidden power, like he did for Krillin and Gohan while they're on Planet Namek during the Frieza saga. Then, even though Dende says he can't do that because you had to reach a certain age to be able to go and do that as a Namekian. So he basically like upgrades Shenron so he can do that for Piccolo. So Piccolo, so then they upgrade, basically just upgrade Shenron because he's like the new watcher of the Dragon Balls or whatever, of Earth's Dragon Balls. And Piccolo goes to Bulma because he's been trying to go and contact Goku and Vegeta, but they haven't been answering because they're training and stuff. He asked Bulma if she has the Dragon Balls, and she said yeah. And so Piccolo goes there and summons Shenron to awaken his hidden power. And so he awakens it, and then there's just like this little running joke in the movie where it jokes at the fact that Bulma is trying to use the Dragon Ball for like a little petty wish to make herself look younger. And it's funny the first few times, but it kind of gets old for a minute. How she basically says, "Hey, kind of make me look younger, like make my butt look bigger." She basically just asks Shenron for like little implants. She basically asked Shenron for implants, even though she's rich enough to get one. But after that, they realized that they used the Dragon Balls and not bring Goku and Vegeta here, which was funny. I like that. How they both were like, dude, we could have used that. We could use those riches instead of using them for implants. We could have used them for like getting Goku and Vegeta here. So that was hilarious. But after that, Piccolo heads back to the Red Ribbon Army to infiltrate it again and see what they're planning to do next. And they say that they're planning to go ahead and take away Pan, right? So they can capture Pan hostage and force Gohan to come to them, so Gamma 1 and 2 can basically just destroy him, because he's been weakened, or he's been getting weaker, so to speak. Piccolo then like tries to go and like say like, oh, I know Pan. Like he tries to be as sneaky as possible with like saying, oh, I know Pan and I know where she is. So he and his other soldier try to go pick up Pan from school. And so when it was like this big buff guy that he was with, this big buff soldier, it tries to go and like get Pan like full on like EDP style, trying to go like try to go like get her into the plane or whatever. And then Pan just she just beats him up. She one-shots him, punches him right in the gut, and then she recognizes Piccolo in the costume. And so they have a plan to like, she pretends to be a hostage while Piccolo and Gohan go and like fight the dudes. And the funny thing is, she literally agrees to be like used as bait, or like used as like kind of like a rage boost for Gohan, so he can like unlock his fighting spirit again. Like Piccolo literally like when Gohan is like fighting one of the Gammas, like later on, he kind of like picks her up, like he's like hurting her or whatever, just for Gohan to go and like get like super majorly pissed because for some reason Gohan couldn't tell that was Piccolo under it, but his daughter can, which is kind of weird, but it works. I guess it works out. So when Pan gets captured, well, captured, quotation mark. Piccolo basically tells Gohan that they captured her, and then Gohan gets super pissed and he starts going Super Saiyan on like the little buff soldier when he tells them that they have his daughter. And the soldier's literally just pissing his pants, and Gohan's just like enraged at the fact that someone like captured his daughter. And so Gohan drops off. They take him to Red Ribbon base, and that's where he has this long hard out fight with Gamma 1. And so while he's fighting Gamma 1, Piccolo is like with Pan, kind of like watching from the sidelines, and Pan's like, "Oh yeah, is my dad can my dad actually beat him?" And like Piccolo's like, maybe not, because he hasn't unlocked his fighting spirit yet. In which Gohan, he's like still kind of rusty when it comes to like fighting, but he's still able to go and hold his own. And then that's where Piccolo and Pan decide to go and just pretend. He basically tells Pan, pretend that you're scared, and then he like pretends to strangle her, and that's where Gohan gets his raise boost and he turns Super Saiyan. And then later on he gets more pissed and he goes Ultimate Gohan. So that's when Gamma 2 steps in to Piccolo's trying to go strangle, or pretending to strangle Pan, because Gamma 1 and 2 thinks that they're doing the good thing by fighting Gohan and Piccolo, when actually they're not. So Gamma 2 fights Piccolo, and while Gamma 2 is fighting Piccolo with his little awakened power, Piccolo is like still kind of losing, and is trying to convince Gamma 2 that they're on the good side. That Piccolo and Gohan are good, and the people you're working for are actually like bad guys. And Gamma 2 is like shut up, I don't want to hear it. We're the good guys here. We're gonna destroy you, you evil person. Kinda trying to do my best to recreate what he says, but he ends up like beating the absolute dog. He beats up Piccolo, and then Piccolo like ends up falling, and then that's where we get this little line from Shenron where he said he gave him like an extra bit more power, and that's where he turns into Orange Piccolo. I'll show you a picture of Orange Piccolo on screen now. But dude, when he transformed into that into Orange Piccolo for the first time, that was so sick, because he had like this little dragon thing like appear on like the back of his like little gi that he wears. Like it's like the power of the dragon like infused in him, and it's like super sick looking. I don't know how I like it, because like I love the transformation scene, but at the same time he's like orange, right? It's like really orange, and I'm not sure how. I also don't like the name just Orange Piccolo. Like I don't know what else you could call it, but it's like it's still like kind of a bland name. But it does its job, and literally just one shots Gamma 2. Like he punches him once and he's just dead. Well, he's just dead, but he's just knocked out of the fight. And so later on, while Magneta is like watching the fight. He's like, you know what? I can't take this. I'm gonna die. So he decides to go and activate Cell Max, even though Dr. Hito been saying don't activate him yet because he's kind of like not ready, and if you do activate him, he's gonna like destroy everything. So Pan breaks out of her little handcuffs or whatever and like tries to go and stop him, but then Gamma 2, where someone's about to go and shoot Pan, Gamma 2 pops out and then saves Pan, and then beats up the other Red Ribbon guy, and then Magnetic gets away, and Dr. Hito chases after him. And then after that, Gamma 1 and 2 stop fighting them because they now know that they're the good guys. And so Dr. Hito is trying to go and fight Magneta from trying to go and open up Cell Max, and he ends up like stinging Dr. Hito ends up stinging Magneta with his little wasp robot wasp thing, but then before he can like kind of like die, before Magneta like actually like dies, he opens up Cell Max, and Dr. Hito's like, oh my god, we're all gonna die. He just says, he's like, we are doomed. He can't stop it, no one can stop it, it's just, he is here, he is just an abomination. And while they're doing the little thing, Gohan and Piccolo and the two Gammas are like resting, trying to go like recover from the battle. Bulma pops in and they bring she says he brings like the strongest warriors they have right now. So she brings in Krillin, 18, Goten, and Trunks. So while they're there, another funny thing in this movie, they disrespect my boy Krillin hard in this movie. Like he gets roasted throughout the movie, and it's like, god dang, like my boy Krillin isn't like that weak. Like he's stronger than like Tien and Master Roshi. He's the strongest human. Put some respect on my boy's name. Alright, put some respect on his name. And also a cool thing we get to see is that Goten and Trunks are now older. They're like teenagers. It doesn't really like do much in the story because they're kind of like left out. Like, oh yeah, it's nice to go and see Goten and Trunks finally age, but it's like, for what point? For what point? They really could be kids again, and it wouldn't change the difference. But when they all arrive there, that's when Dr. Hito like kind of like flies out and says, you gotta run because Cell Max is out. And I'll put a picture of what Cell Max looks like right about now. And my god, he looks super sick. Sure, he kind of looks like a walking watermelon, but my dude still walks that fit and just becomes an absolute beast. The one thing I am disappointed is like in about Cell in this movie is kind of like he lost his arrogant swag that he had, like in perfect form, right? Perfect form Cell. He had like this stance about him. This made him feel like so intimidating, and like you could tell he was smart, he was powerful, and he was cunning. He kind of lost all that except for like the powerful part and the scary part. Cell Max is basically like this gigantic like raging monster. I would have loved to see if like Cell was like kind of in like his perfect form right here, and he was like in that form and he like remembers everything about what Goku and Gohan did, and then he absorbed like the energy of like the God Key and whatever. Like that would also been like very cool to see, because Cell is probably my second favorite Dragon Ball villain next to Frieza, and he was done dirty yet also done right at the same time. So I don't know, do with that what you will. I have mixed opinions on how they do Cell, but his design looks pretty good, even though he looks like a watermelon. But despite his design and despite the fact he lost basically his whole brain, all of his brain cells, he is an absolute beast, because he mollywops everyone. Like Gamma 1 and 2, like nothing to him. Gohan and Piccolo, nothing to him. Everyone at the battlefield is like, Jesus Christ, what do we do against this monstrosity? And then the Gammas basically say, we have to hit him like on like his little headpiece. We gotta hit him on the headpiece. Like the little black thing on his head. That's where we need to hit him. So while they're trying to go and like break it so that Cell Max could be like defeated, Gamma 2 actually, this is where he comes in. Gamma 2 finally starts being serious and is like, yo, I need to sacrifice myself. Like, the only way for us to win is for me to sacrifice myself for the greater good. And Gamma 1 is like, no, don't do that. If you do that, I'm going to do it too. He's like, no, you have to go and protect Dr. Hito, because he's still alive. And so all the Z fighters trying to go and get him into position so that Gamma 2 can go and land the final blow. And then right after he lands it, Gamma 2 is dead and Cell is still alive. He's like missing an arm, which I guess they kind of like, since he wasn't fully complete, he kind of like lost his regeneration, like his massive regeneration, his whole, unless you destroy every single last cell in my body, I will still regenerate. He kind of lost that. So I guess kind of like a countermeasure. So he beats everyone up still. Like Gohan's getting folded, Piccolo's getting folded, and then before Cell decides to go and step on his body, he literally decides to go and step on Gamma 2's like dead, rotting corpse. And Piccolo's like, no, don't you dare do that. Don't you dare disrespect him like that. And he like catches his foot and then like slowly turns into like orange Piccolo. And then while him and Krillin are like holding up his foot while everyone else is trying to attack him, Krillin's like, yo, Piccolo, you should do that that thing where you turn like big, like you did against Goku the first time you fought him. And the Piccolo was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot I could do that, which is a nice form of like fan service, because a lot of people, even myself, completely forgot Piccolo can even turn giant. I literally forgot about, I literally didn't remember it until I saw it in the movie. I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot this man can go big. He can turn into a kaiju. So basically we got this big Piccolo versus big we got big Piccolo versus Cell Max in this whole like kaiju type fight, and it's like super sick. And while they're fighting, Piccolo tells Gohan that he can't really hold him off for long because the big form doesn't really like increase his power or anything. It just makes him bigger, and it's like kind of like a bluff and like an intimidation factor. But he tells Gohan that he needs to charge up enough energy to go and blast a powerful like attack through like Cell's head so that he will like die. And so while he's doing that, he's trying to go fight Cell, and then he gets absolutely demolished by Cell. Like he gets ragdolled. and then when the other like fighters try to go and come in, they're like nothing. Cell just basically turns this unstoppable force of destruction, and nothing can stop him. And then Gohan's getting pissed off because he sees Piccolo like very like lifeless. I thought he was gonna die. I thought Piccolo was gonna die, but then Gohan freaking unleashed, like he unleashed his full like anger, and it was literally a callback to his Super Saiyan 2 transformation back when he was like a kid. And he goes super like Final Beast Gohan. I think that's what the form is called. No one really knows what the form is called for Gohan. Some call it Final Gohan. Some call it like Beast Gohan. But I don't know what you call it. But when he transforms into that, oh my god, he looked freaking insane. I'll put up a picture of what he looks like. But dude, he looked insane. Like his hair was like freaking, I didn't like how much hair he had, because he had like a whole bunch of hairs like sticking up. Like it was just, his hair was like erect in a way. Just stanced up, all spiky hair. And then the sickest thing was Cell Max tried to go and punch Gohan, and he was like, is that supposed to be your full power? And it's like, my turn. And then he freaking kicked him to the mountain. And then Piccolo, he gets up and he does his he wraps his arm around Cell to go and get him to get Gohan a clear shot to go and shoot at his head. And then that's where Gohan uses the special beam cannon, basically Piccolo's technique, and like he shoots a hole through Cell's head, and then Cell dies at that moment in time. And that's basically where like the movie ends. Basically, like Cell dies, everyone's happy, Pan is fine. We get Dr. What was his name? Dr. Yeah, I forgot all about his name for a second there. But Dr. Gero, Dr. Gero's grandson, yeah. He asks Bulma to go and work at Capsule Corp, and then Gamma 1 tries to go and thank Piccolo for like respecting Gamma 1, or like for them helping them. And so that's basically where the movie ends. Also, there's a post-credit scene to the end of like Goku and Vegeta's fight while they're on Beerus' planet, and it shows that Vegeta actually won the fight. So that was pretty cool. In conclusion, I think the movie is really good. The plot is good. The animation is crisp. Like when you say crisp, it is crisp. Like the fight scenes, you better not have like you're gonna have a seizure watching this movie. Especially during the final fight, you're gonna have a seizure. Like they should put like an epilepsy warning, because god dang the amount of colors. Like, dude, it was insane. But my pros, the movie was good. It's a very short movie, just an hour and 40 minutes. A quick little breeze through, but it is honestly like a really good movie. My con with it is kind of like the villain not being like good at all. Like the villain was kind of meh to me. some of the forms in the movie didn't look as appealing to me. Some of the designs, basically. Final Gohan, he was cool, but at the same time, I just don't like the fact that he has like a gazillion. His hair is just so spiky, just so spiked up. And Orange Piccolo, I had to go and get used to, but Cell's design, I'm still kind of getting used to because I still like my boy being a green little beetle that he is. But yeah, honestly, I give this movie like a 8.5 out of 10. It's a really good drama movie, a really good movie for your friends and family. I suggest this movie to like anyone. Honestly, it has a lot of good jokes. Some jokes kind of like a hit or miss. Sometimes they have like this little weird like little animation in the background, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there are like some shots in the movie where they literally just like zoom in on like people's crotch, or there's this one scene where like Bulma's trying to go look for like a little device that makes her able to go and call Whis or whatever, and the camera literally just directly like straight into like Bulma's butt cheeks, and it's I was like so this is going to get all the teenage boys' attention. Like, God, eh. And then throughout like the first part of the movie, like the cameras are like directly like in like the people's crotch, where like they're in like a spinning car or whatever, like directly like right there. It's kind of weird where the camera angle like decides to go and show, but it just ends up being funny in the end. So that's my review of this movie. Let me know if you like it or not. What you disagree about, what do you don't like about the movie, what you like about it. Tell me in the comment section below. And I shall see you all later.